Hi Harriet.
Hello.
Welcome along. We're here at Dovetail Games and we've been having a bit of an event. Perhaps if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Harry, or Harriet. Everyone just knows me as Harry. I am one of the community managers at Dovetail Games. I am working on TSW 5 and I will be working on TSW 6.
Cool. Excellent. Yes, if you think back into your time of managing the community over time.
A very passionate community.
They are a very passionate community, indeed. What's been your favourite thing or the most memorable thing about managing the community or working with the community?
There's quite a lot. Obviously, one of the things that we're relied on as community managers is to do preview streams. So that's usually what people know me from, like they know my face. They'll either see me in the forums going, have you tried turning it on and off again? I don't say that, but trying to help manage bugs and issues and help with troubleshooting. That's one of the hats I wear, but I also do the preview streams. But something a little different, something that kind of stands out to me, it wasn't actually a preview stream, although I do love doing preview streams. It was a live stream that we did for CALM. And if you've not heard of CALM, it stands for Campaign Against Living Miserably. It's a suicide prevention charity, and we'd done a live stream for them as part of Dingo Jam. So there was a bundle that you could get, and the money went to CALM. So it was myself, Matt, and JD and Alex kind of swapped in and out. And towards the end of the live stream, I talked a little bit about my personal experience, which was relevant to the charity, which was relevant to CALM. And I talked a little bit about how I overcame my problems that I was having, and talked about how games helped me and getting the appropriate professional help, and it was I'd kind of bared my soul a little bit, and I was a little bit anxious about it, but it was an important thing to talk about, and I didn't think much of it. I'm a big talker. I will talk forever, and I talked a lot about that. Didn't think much of it, and after the stream had ended, I was closing everything down. I was checking through just checking through normal work stuff for TSW, and I'd noticed that a couple of people in the community had messaged me. I had some mentions on Discord and the forums, and the messages they kind of varied. There was a really nice one that I got that was, "Thank you for talking so openly about having autism and ADHD." Because it hadn't been talked about a lot, because we do preview streams mostly, and a lot of streams that are specifically about TSW, especially on the TSW channel. So it's not something that really just gets brought up casually in conversation. So there was a really nice message that I'd had that was just, "Thank you so much for talking about it," because it's just not something that gets talked about very often.
And it really should be. It is just part of us. It's part of the way we live. It's part of the way we are every day.
Yeah, it's also when it comes to hobbyists specifically, there tends to be a lot of crossover, because I'm a live action role player, I'm a LARPer, so that's like one of the hobbies where I went, oh, there's lots of other people whose brains work similar to mine over here that don't think I'm just a little different. And it very much was the same when I've been, I was talking to other people in the Dovetail team, and it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you start a new job and you go, oh, I've got to turn up and be the person with ADHD and autism. And I spoke to the rest of the team, and they said, well, actually, nobody here is going to bat an eye about that because it's a really accepting hobby. We just haven't really talked about it much before. So I came in and started talking a lot. And I had that really nice message, and I had other messages on the stream that were basically just surprised. They had no idea that I'd ever gone through a period of depression, because I'm a pretty cheerful person right now, but this was 10 years ago. I'm an annoyingly relentless optimist nowadays, but 10 years ago I was a different person, and lots of people were very surprised by that. But the most important thing that I kind of took out of that was I'd also had messages where people had said they were asking me, like, if I had resources available, and I'd point them towards Calm. And they'd had conversations where they went, actually, it's made me realise I should go and talk to somebody about this. There's got to be somebody that will listen. Was like the key message, that there will always be somebody that will listen. It could be a stranger on the other end of the phone, but there will be somebody that will listen. So I'd had messages about that, and that was the most important thing in the world to me, is that if somebody just goes, oh, actually I think I do need to have a chat with somebody before this gets into harder to navigate territory, then that's all I need to do. And it's something that stands out to me. It's not anything to do with trains specifically. Matt was driving during it. There you go. There's your train reference.
Yeah, we got a train reference in here.
Yeah. I do also like when I first started, there were, I didn't know massively a lot about trains when I first started, and the thing that kind of that was quite nice were the community were very patient with me for that, and they didn't make fun of me when I was asked what my favourite train was, and I said, trains that look like boss fights in Elden Ring, and everyone immediately understood, and that's how I was introduced to the Union Pacific Big Boy, which is one of my other favourite trains, apart from the one that everybody knows is my favourite. I have the Shed. I was introduced to the Union Pacific Big Boy, and I was like, yes, they look like they would make you rage quit in Elden Ring. And just nobody made fun of me, like people weren't mean. When I did my first solo live stream, and I was a nightmare at it, because I'm a horror that has skipped the tutorial mode on TSW, because I went, I don't need, how hard can it be? Isn't it just a big lever? Immediately smashed myself into the buffers, immediately. I went backwards, hit the buffers.
We all did that.
What, skip the tutorial?
Yeah, and crash and spad and everything else.
I'm a nightmare for a spad. A nightmare for that, and I don't like to admit how much I overshoot things, because Matt's supposed to be the overshooting guy, and I can't overshadow him for that, but he is the one for that.
Well, you're probably aware that I make lots of tutorials for the game. Do you know why?
They're so helpful.
Do you know why I do it though?
Why?
Because it forces me to actually learn the trade.
They're so helpful though. The amount of times that I'm like, I've got a live stream next week, photo mode. People are going to ask me to drive the ICET. I know that they're going to ask me to drive it. I have no idea what to do with it. And I'll immediately go, there's going to be an ambassador video on it somewhere. There has to be. And there always is. It's usually you, but there's always, if I can't find one, I'm like, that one, there we go. And it's really helpful. It's really good to have, because it means that I'm following something else along while doing it at the same time. That's my type of learning. I'm less of a listen and then do. I'm more of a, I'm going to do this at the exact same time, so that it is inputted into my brain effectively. It's so useful.
Yeah, it's a really important thing about learning is everybody does it differently.
Everybody does it differently. Some people can sit and listen to instructions. I'm a huge board gamer. I have a lot of board games in my house, but I'm a nightmare to teach how to play board games. If it's just, let's watch this YouTube tutorial, I'm like, oh, we're going to have to watch it on 2x speed, and it has to be Rodney Smith specifically. And if it's not Rodney Smith, the nice Canadian man, then we're just going to have to play it at the same time and just have a round. And it's very much like, well, this is a 3-hour game. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to have a practice 3-hour game then, because I won't learn any other way. So trains was a steep learning curve, but it is really useful having those videos to be able to just go, I don't want to do the tutorial mode for this. I'm just going to have a little look at this instead. That's not to say the tutorial mode is really useful for people that just want to learn them when they come out, but I struggle.
That's all right. Everybody gets it in a different way. I think you do have some family history with trains too.
I do, yes. So my granddad used to work in Bickershaw Colliery, or Bickershire, if you're from my area, which is in a town called Lee, which is near Wigan, which is in between Manchester and Liverpool, which is the northwest. And the reason I do that is because nobody's heard of Lee, unless
I know where Wigan is.
You know where Wigan is?
Isn't that weird?
It goes to yeah. How do you know? We'll have a chat on that later. How do you know where Wigan is? Rugby? Is it because of rugby?
No, it's because it's between Manchester and Liverpool. And
well, that's why. That's why I mentioned Manchester and Liverpool. So, although my family would be very angry if I went, oh, wow, it's basically near Wigan. Oh, there's a history. But my granddad used to work in Bickershire Colliery. He was a coal miner for many, many years, survived 2 pit collapses. 2 pit collapses. Wouldn't catch me going underground. And
it's a very hard life.
It's a hard life. He loved it. He loved that job. And I will never know why, but I think maybe he loved the people that he worked with. He loved everyone he worked with. And I think that was a big part of it, to be honest. But he loved that job. And when I was we were taking long dog walks when I was 3 years old, but he was a big walker, and we used to go in this area called Pennington Flash. And he used to point out to me at Pennington Flash when we'd be walking around, it's this big, it's called Pennington Flash, but I don't know if it's not quite a lake, it's a flash, it's an area that's been flash flooded and stayed that way forever. So that happened in the 70s, I think. But because he was a coal miner and Bickershire Colliery was next door to where that is, he used to talk about how Lee used to have a train station. And that was before my time, because after the flash flood, a bunch of the tracks were submerged, and it's my favourite thing ever. You can still see them on Google Maps. If you go on Google Maps and you look at Pennington Flash, and there's a weird little offcut with two areas that you can clearly see. It looks like tracks. They look thick. They look big now because they've had moss and algae just grow. Yeah, they've grown things, so they just look a little out of place, but you can see them going in. And we used to have this walk. There'd be occasions where you'd just see these ruins, these like pieces of history, where there'd be train tracks. And it was always the case that my granddad used to go, we used to have a train, we used to have a steam engine. He'd call it a steam engine because he was a big, we had a Thomas the Tank Engine on video cassette. And so I knew what the actual, I knew it was a steam engine, and it used to transport coal from Bickershire Colliery, and I knew that the vague direction of where the tracks were, But actually, just recently, I was shown a picture of what it used to look like. Like it was an overview where it was Pennington Flash. What's the name of the type of map it is? It's a
Topographic?
no. It's
No?
got an
Aerial,
can't remember what
aerial
it's.
mapping?
It's something. That's going to drive me bananas. But it had the Pennington Flash, the water now, but it also had the old map layered over the top of it, so you could see the train tracks. So I could have a look on Google Maps, and I'd go, I can now see where I'd go walking here and here. Yes. I think it's a survey. I think it has to be a survey map. So that was just fascinating to me because I'd never ever seen anything like that before. I'd just only ever heard about it. And there's pictures of Bickershaw Colliery, there's pictures of the train, which I can't remember what it was. It was like austerity. I think it was austerity. So there's always been pictures of that, but there's never been. You can kind of see the old ruins of the tracks. There's a really old building that's the train station building, which you would never know what it is. It's just this big brick block with a weird door outside of it, and it's been broken either side of it. So there's a bridge that was kind of going out either side of it because there used to be heaps where the coal was, and you don't want that to basically landslide downwards. So you just never could figure out quite the direction it was going because it was just a block with nothing going either side of it anymore. And it was always just this weird, this story that I'd heard about until semi-recently. It was really interesting to see. It was really interesting to see where the tracks went under that are now just buried underwater, and where the old village was. There was like a cafe, and there's just old buildings underneath there. Looking at these maps and seeing, like having a look at the picture of the actual engine transporting all of this coal, and I'm just having this weird moment of going, that's what my granddad was talking about. And I didn't understand when I was 5 years old. I'd be like, yay, it was a train. But now I'm 34 years old. It was very much like looking at it and understanding it was just this really weird thing of going, oh, that's what my granddad, that's what he used to rant about it, because we used to have a train station. We don't have a train station anymore. He very much it was just a cool memory that had just been unlocked quite recently that I'd completely forgotten about, and then I was reminded of it and I went, oh, I remember he used to talk about the train. I remember the exact train he used to talk about. I remember the cafe. I remember he met my grandma working at Bickershaw Colliery. I remember they used to sit by, they used to have dinner and they'd sit by one of like the big long benches that they used to have, and it was right next to the tracks. Had no idea until recently, and I'd seen that old survey map, put two and two together and went, that's the same one. And you can see it on Google Maps. Have I shown you the Google Maps thing?
No, you did.
Did I?
Yeah.
I think I've shown everybody. I'm like, oh, there's a train. It's spooky because there's a train underneath here, or train tracks underneath here.
Yeah, you can certainly see the traces of it.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
History's like that.
What's that?
History is like that.
It is, yeah.
And he was probably sad about losing the train, because while a lot of towns fought getting a station, when they did get one, it kind of gave them an identity. And if you took it away, the towns often lost their identity. A lot of towns died when the train went away.
Yeah, that's basically spot on with Lee. It's still there, but its infrastructure essentially its infrastructure and economy was essentially demolished when the train station left, and it's still this kind of sore point in the older generation that still remember it. It was the 60s and it was the 60s and 70s when when they started to when it started to flood and it started to become more disused, and there were certain parts that I think were still open and in use, but that entire area, especially where Bickershire Colliery was, we had the miners' strikes, which was a big thing in the UK as well, especially like 70s and 80s. We had mining strikes, and my granddad was a part of that, and I don't think Lee ever recovered from that, and it's still a sore point today that whenever somebody goes, oh well, the nearest train station to Lee is Wigan, and it's always that thing of going, well, it never used to be like that. It never used to just be Wigan. It used to be you could walk 5 minutes instead of having a 20-minute drive to get to. If you're in the centre of Lee, it's 20 minutes to get to Wigan. Either of the stations in Wigan are basically across the road from each other. They've got 2 stations in Wigan across the road from each other, and Lee has nothing. And as a result of that, it's suffered. You have hit the nail on the head there. Never bounced back.
Which is sad in its history. Which is sad in its history.
It is, yeah. Oh no, I've brought the boot.
No, I don't think so. It's
fascinating.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Who knows? Maybe somebody will see this and go, oh, I'll visit Lee and see the Cineworld or the Nando's.
They might turn up and they might go, I need to make a railway there.
It would be great. We do have, there's the Leeds Liverpool Canal. There's a lovely walk. We've got Pennington Flash, and you can have a look at the don't go near where the actual train tracks are because it turns into bog water. But if you look from a distance, if on a dry day when it's a little bit lower, you might be able to see just the shapes. And you can go for a walk there, and you might also happen upon the ruins of the old tracks or one of the old railway bridges that you can just walk across now because it's just been disused for many, many, many years. Really sorry to anyone that was born in the 70s. I keep saying many, many years ago.
So I was born in the 60s.
Were you?
Yeah, I am that old.
Wow, I didn't know that. Well, it's we do, they still have like the old mining wheels and stuff. It's still a time with a lot of history. It just doesn't have a train station, and it really needs a train station to bounce back properly. But that's not a problem I can fix. So, yeah, I would love.
You can give it one in Trainsim World.
Do you know what?
Imagine the community. What's that there for?
I've had this discussion before. I said if there was a way that I could, because obviously we have routes, particularly timetables and trains that are set in like the 80s. And I would love a Lee, but nobody knows really what it looks like. We've got the survey maps. Nobody knows what Lee. There's barely any pictures of it. There's people that remember it, but that's not conducive to trying to make a realistic version of it. A time machine, I would love to see that in TSW. Impossible though. It's all traces of it are maps and the odd picture of the old train and the old colliery. But I would love a little time travelling in TSW back to the 60s, 50s, 60s would be great. Yeah.
When it was all in its heyday.
It was in its heyday.
Yeah.
It was a lively, bustling town ready to mine some coal and make some money. But yeah, impossible though, impossible. But I'll stick to Zwolle. I like Zwolle. That can be my second favourite.
Yeah. And in the coal world, I'm the guy that throws it in the fire.
Fireman. Fireman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remembered that. Because we don't do, Jamie keeps telling me, he keeps going, oh, you should do a stream where you drive Flying Scotsman. And I go, no. Because I struggled with a pacer the first time I learned. I was that's not happening for me.
I think you'd be okay with Flying Scotsman. You just need to learn the pattern. How you do it.
Pattern orientated. I'm well known for my organisation, my concentration, pattern recognition skills. That was sarcasm. was being sarcastic.
There's really only two controls to learn if you ignore the brake, because the brake is the same as the other ones, really. But if
That doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe one day there'll be a Harry drives Flying Scotsman.
The hardest thing about steam trains, I think, is getting your head around the concept that the less steam you use, the faster you go.
Yeah, no, that's... yeah, no. 66, I can drive that with my eyes closed, but nobody wants to see that. Everyone's like, please stop.
You're not in the slightest bit alone in struggling with steam, though.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, I've heard it's tough. Yeah. I like my diesels.
I think from my perspective, I have an advantage with steam because I do drive real ones sometimes. So I am a fireman, but when your driver's in a good mood, they go, would you like to step into my side of the office?
That's exciting.
Oh, it's really good to learn your family history and good to learn some of your personal history as well. And it is a really important thing, and it does come up in community occasionally that there are people that need someone to listen to them, and I'm glad you found someone. And I hope everybody else who needs that also finds someone, because it is important to reach out. People aren't alone, and things like Calm, very, very important to have, and particularly that one's concentrating on the gaming industry, both developers and players.
Yes, yeah.
And gaming does attract a lot of people who sometimes need a bit more help than other people.
Yeah. It's a surprisingly social hobby, but you'll jump online with your friends or you'll have a chat with them about something, or you'll go into the Discord and you'll be like, oh, I've done this today and this today, but nobody really, it's just the ability to be able to go, oh, I'm struggling actually. Is there anybody that's around that can help, or is there anyone that knows who might be able to help? Every country has resources to help with that. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And do keep an eye out for people that you know, because if you know someone and they're starting to change a bit, and there's warning signs. Like
one way or the other.
Yeah, there's definite warning signs, and I've had family involvement, and when you start to see it, start talking to them. They might not want to talk to you initially, but they probably will, but start talking, see where it goes.
I was very stubborn, and didn't get me anywhere. Could you believe it, actually? I used to be quiet.
No.
So quiet. I used to be really quiet, like kind of hiding behind other people. And that wasn't who I was. It was just because when you grow up and you have ADHD and you're autistic, there's this kind of, you need to be this particular way. You're like, oh, you are Harry, you are a woman that if you're chatty, especially if like you're a bit more talkative, they're like, oh, here's the scatterbrain, here's the person that's not very eloquent or well organised or goes on a tangent, which I definitely do now. But at the time when I was younger, it was very much the case of people saying that as a negative thing. And that still happens now. People still go, she talks too much, she gets distracted, she goes on tangents, and I still do that, and I go, well, I can't do anything about it. And if I try to crush that, it just crushes your soul.
Yeah, it's crushing you.
Yeah, so after a while, after I kind of went through that initial thing 10 years ago, and I started to get better, that's the point that I kind of went, okay, there's just going to be people that don't like how much you talk.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
Here I am. And I'll keep talking no matter how I'm feeling. But it's usually pretty cheery nowadays. Even though it's Friday today, I didn't tell a Friday dad joke, which is criminal.
You could do one now.
Ooh.
That puts you on the spot.
I have a really good one that I absolutely love, but I need to pick somebody like a famous celebrity, like somebody that everybody would know, everyone would know.
Well, in this sphere, go for Matt.
Oh yeah, Matt. Okay. So I was in the pub. Matt won't mind me telling this one. I was in the pub the other day, and my good friend Matt Peddleston comes over to me and says,
Hey, Harry, are you any good at impressions?
And I said, no.
I'll pay that one.
It's a thinker. It
It
takes
is,
a second.
Yes,
Takes a
yeah.
second.
There was a little bit of a delayed fuse there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go, oh yeah. The joke is that you're terrible at impressions. But you get to do a silly voice, which is why I like that one. But also, I have a pet wolf, and they were going through a bit of a period of stress, so I taught them how to meditate, and now they're a werewolf.
A very werewolf.
There's loads
Yep.
in here. There's loads. I'll never escape them. I'll never escape them. They're in there forever. Oh no. Okay, I should probably stop yapping.
The cool thing is you don't need to escape them.
No. I have my giant book of dad jokes every Friday, the morning stand-up, and I've taken a screenshot every Friday. I don't normally post them, but I've taken every Friday since I started, I've taken a screenshot of everyone's reactions to the dad joke. And when I'm feeling down, I just take a little look at those pictures and I go, it's okay, because there's always somebody that's going to be more miserable than you are, because during the Friday dad joke, genuinely, there's a few people that just look like they want to quit. They're just going to go, we're leaving Dovetail. That was terrible. That was a rubbish pun and it was a bad joke and you should feel bad. And I'm like,
There you go. Perfect.
yeah, I want eye rolls. I want people going, oh, that was awful. I want people looking at me with love and disdain in their eyes, and that's a winner. I know that I've done a good dad joke when that's the experience.
I think what we just got then was I want to go home. Jamie walked past again.
Was it Jamie? I need to stop yapping. I need to stop yapping.
All right, we'll wrap that up there. It's been really good talking to you, and thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely talking to you.
And thanks for having me here at Dovetail.
Yes, I hope you had a lovely time.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see you not on a screen for once.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I think I commented earlier in the event that we've all got arms and legs, and
Yeah.
we're not just
TV people.
yeah.
Because when people started walking in, I was like, oh, it's the TV people. These are like the famous people. And Jamie was like, yes, they have it's not just TV person. I'm like, yeah. I like seeing how tall people are. I'm tangenting again.
That's
Right.
okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot, and we'll wrap it up there. And
Yeah,
all
catch
good.
up soon. Yeah.
We will.